Straight Talk Society. This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Straight Talk with Trevor.
Because the ladies from Pour Your Heart Out
no topic
will be over
is
here
off
to
limits.
join the panel.
Plus, but it's a must, you gon' respect this. Plus, the nuts will touch the dust, you try to check this. You ain't
The
insane.
MMA brothers, Bones and Zay, have pre and post shows to the MMA shows. And I am your host, Mr. Straight Talk, the man with the greatest beard on YouTube. Oh, I love throwing that in there. Real quick, I am back on Facebook. I guess they took me out of jail. I was able to connect the channel back.
Due to the increasing level of incompetence and the major lack of transparency, the Straight Talk Society will no longer maintain a presence on Facebook.
Make sure and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Man Talk Monday. This is the flagship show of the Straight Talk Society. This is the show that you're going to get all your, drama topics. This is a show that you may get your arguments. This is a show where we're going to talk about not one specific thing, but we dabble around the world of pop culture and the men just banter about it. So that's what this show is. But if this show isn't for you, and I don't know why it wouldn't be, but we also have other shows. The highly acclaimed Tape Fist Politics, Venkat, Mike, MD, and Ricardo do such a fantastic job with that. That's every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Hey, if that doesn't fancy your boat, then be sure to tune into Wrestling with Reality. Today we have the return of Straight Talk Therapy Sessions with the one and only Dr. Mia. So y'all be sure and tune into that. So tonight we have a fantastic show tonight, the Straight Talk Society. We will not go over that 2.5 hour mark. So Mike, you ain't got no shirt on, right?
I never have clothes on, bro.
But I'm saying you like right on the like
my bad. I don't like clothes, bro. Anybody that knows me, my fault.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Bonez, the MMA Brothers.
Up.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Another day in paradise.
Happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday to you too. Happy football Sunday. Go Steelers.
Go Bucks.
What's up, everybody? Good morning to y'all, and welcome to another episode of Straight Talk MMA with the MMA Brothers. I'm here with my brother Bones. I am Zay, and we are here to review UFC 295 that took place in Madison Square Garden last night, the Mecca of sports. What an amazing card.
Yeah, well, it was a pretty good card, especially once you get to the main card. Yeah. What's up, Mike? Shout out. Good morning to you.
What's up, Mike? Thanks for tuning in. I ain't gonna lie. My boy usually do be right.
Yeah, he be right a lot of the time. I ain't gonna say most of the time, but a lot of the times.
He usually be right. I ain't gonna lie. So we just gonna jump right into it. Kicked off the card with a featherweight bout. Dennis Bazooka making his second appearance in the UFC versus Jamal Emmerich, who has lost 2 of his last 3. Not really much to break down. Jamal Emmerich ended the fight in 49 seconds with a nasty like left hook or a right hook right to the chin. Bazooka went down, hammer fist followed, and just like that, it was over.
I mean, not to take away from his victory, but I guess it is a little bit. He did miss weight by, I think, a pound. Yeah, but I was surprised by this fight. He dropped Bazooka, and you can see like his eyes roll in the back of his head, and he just kind of starched him, and then followed up with a bunch of hammer fists. Biggest victory of his career, I would say. Bazooka was a hometown kid, Sarah Longo product. Very disappointing to see that.
Yeah, you could tell that really stung to get done like that in your backyard. But shout out to Jamal Emmerich. Yeah, he did miss weight by the pound, but nevertheless, that was really impressive. And I'm kind of interested to see what's next for both guys. I kind of felt like, I don't know if it's just my disappointment. It's like I want to say Bazooka underperformed, but he didn't really. It wasn't enough time to even really say that. I think he just got caught clean.
Yeah,
he underestimated the striking of Jamal Emmerich. But what a way to start off the card! And I feel like usually when you get those that first fight of the night can set the tone for the rest of the night.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. Our next fight in the flyweight bout, Kevin Boras making his UFC debut versus Joshua Van, and this was an amazing fight. Once I saw this fight, I said to myself, this is the second fight of the night, and it's going to be hard to beat this. Boras came out, started off a little slow, but I say 2 minutes into the second round, he just started throwing crazy kicks, spin kicks, flying knees, stringing his combos together. Everything started off with hands up top, then following kicks. He had Joshua Van on the bike for a while, kept him on the back foot, and won the first round decisively. The second round, Joshua Van comes out, and he started putting the pressure on. And the body work was really impressive to me. And I feel like him going to the body and keeping Borjas on his back foot kind of wore him out. And then in the third round, it was more the same, but it was back and forth traffic. It was two-way traffic the whole time. Joshua Van did come back and win by decision, which I thought was the right call. But after watching the first round, once he got dropped like twice, I had no idea that I didn't think he was going to win that fight. I thought he was going to get finished. And he also broke a flyweight record for the most body shots in the fight with 52. The previous record was 51.
Yeah, this was a pretty entertaining fight. Joshua Van was heavily favored coming into the fight. Boras making his UFC debut. Boras, he clearly won the first round, dropping Van, and looked like he was going to pull off the upset. The second round and third round, Van, like my brother said, started going to the body, ripping the body shots. That was pretty nasty, and he was able to come away with a decision. But Boras was pretty impressive, though. I like the way he looked.
Yeah, even in defeat.
Mike said, as far as Jamal Emmerich, he better learn that old tower trick to lose a pound in a second. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Holla at DC for tips. The way those body shots was landing, the way they was sounding off, it was just impressive, man. I thought we was gonna be able to see what dude ate for breakfast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that fight was impressive. The flyweight division, I feel like is growing, is getting more and more stacked. Move right on to the catchweight fight. John Castaneda versus Kyung Ho Kang. I heard this was a catchweight fight because one of these guys had an infection or something like that, so he had to take antibiotics. And so he contacted the UFC ahead of time, and I guess they contacted his opponent, and he was up for it. So they fought at 138 as opposed to 135, really only a 3-pound difference. What you thought about this fight?
I'm going to let you go first on this one.
All right, well, personally, I felt like Kyung Ho Kang was kind of like hesitant for the most part. I think he tried a few takedowns in the first round, couldn't get him down, and that was obviously he didn't have no plan B. John Castaneda kind of unloaded on him a lot. I feel like what was really, really kind of messing up, I think he kind of underestimated the power of Castaneda because he came out a little aggressive, and then once he got clipped a couple of times, he went straight to the wrestling, and once that didn't work, he was kind of too far away to be in range to land his strikes. But every time he came in, he got timed and caught. John Castaneda utilized some vicious, vicious body kicks, and I feel like that pretty much summed up the fight. Not the most eventful fight, but it was still pretty entertaining. I feel like it was the first two fights set high standards. So
yeah. This fight I didn't pay attention to too much because I was driving, so I didn't want to lose focus. But it did seem like it was pretty back and forth and competitive.
Yeah,
I don't got too much on it though.
For me, the only flaw with catchweight bouts is make it hard to determine what you do with both guys afterwards. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Technically, you didn't win a fight at bantamweight, or you didn't lose a fight at bantamweight. So this one right here.
Yeah, I did catch this fight. I'll go off on this fight.
Say it again.
I'll start first on this fight. This fight was real impressive. I did not see this fight going this way. On the pre-show, I picked Martin Madsen to win by decision. I figured he was going to control the clinch and use his wrestling and everything like that. But I did say that Jared Gordon, his last two losses were controversial, especially the one against Paddy Pimblett. He clearly won that fight. So I said that if I was Jared Gordon, I'd come out guns blazing and looking to get the knockout in the first round. When the fight started, Madsen, he did what I expected. He had the clinch. And what he was doing was he was grabbing the back of Gordon's neck with his left hand. And then he was, trying to uppercut him, or he was also controlling his hand and just controlling him. And then he was, using the clinch and everything like that. But at some point, Jared Gordon started using like the uppercuts and getting some hooks in the clinch. And then he caught him with a nasty one and just dropped him up against the cage. And he was pretty out. It was real impressive. That's the biggest win of Jared Gordon's career. It's a big setback for Madsen. And I was very impressed with Jared Flash Gordon.
Yeah, I feel like Madsen is at the end of the road. He pushing 40 in the lighter weight class. I feel like I mentioned that Friday. Madsen did impressed me with his striking because he obviously improved it. Always saw him as a one-trick pony, just a strict grappler. But to that same vein, he did get knocked out. I feel like at one point he got desperate. It played out exactly how I thought it would. I just didn't see it ending so early. I thought it would probably end in the late second, early third, because I saw Mark Madsen pushing the pace and then getting tired, gassing out like he usually does if you don't finish you. And I know Jared Gordon is a pretty durable guy. His post-fight speech was pretty cool, but yeah, like you said, Madsen did try to utilize the clinch and get some dirty boxing in there, but eventually Jared Gordon turned the tables and returned the favor, and he caught him an uppercut that wobbled him, and then he rocked up against the cage, and he clinched him up and hit him with another uppercut and then a hook, and he just dropped. Very little ground and pound was needed. It was over. Happy for Jared Gordon getting the W. He said he used to shoot heroin right around the corner from the building. Now he went in UFC fights around in the same building. He was pretty hyped. Gave a little motivational speech. It's him and one other fighter that are former addicts that be
Court McGee.
Huh?
Court McGee.
Nah, it's somebody else that's more new to the UFC who be giving out they social media platforms and asking people, hey, if you need help kicking your habit, hit me up, blah, 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 blah. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't really know where you go from there. I still don't think he should be ranked. But I think they should probably one more W and then give him somebody in the top 15.
Yeah.
Oh my, this fight right here. Both guys won an extra 50 G's. Nazim Sadikov versus Vyacheslav Borishev, aka Slava Claus. First round, Nazim Sadikov came out guns blazing. It was a back and forth on the feet. I was thinking Sadikov should try to go ahead and get this fight on the ground because that's obviously Borishev's weakness, as we spoke of on Friday. He couldn't get no takedowns in the first round, though, so they kept it on the feet. I felt like he was playing a dangerous game, and right as I was saying that to myself, he hit him with like a right cross, left head kick that dropped Borishev. Borishev went to the ground. Sadikov tried to ground and pound him and finish him. He survived. Then he jumped for a submission. He got out of that. Somehow, Borishev got back up. When he got back up, he was still kind of wobbly. Everybody could sense that the end was near. Then he threw like a up kick, caught him right on the chin. And once Borishev got hit on the chin with the up kick, Nazim followed through with like a cross hook to the head, and then a body shot, and then the elbow back to the head that dropped him again. And then tried to get him out of there, but he survived once again. And we moved on to the second round. In the second round, Borishev started coming back. He has some of the most impressive body work, and that's one thing that I was saying. Like I was looking forward to as far as when the fight was going to happen to see if he was going to be able to land that and actually get close enough to land the body shots, but also keep enough distance to not get taken down, because I thought Sadikov was going to go for more takedowns, which he didn't. He kept it standing. So I feel like Sadikov, the round that he won, he got a 10-8, but then Borishev won the other two rounds, and so that's what made it a draw. I felt like that was the appropriate call for this fight. One of the judges, however, scored it kind of crazy, so it was a majority draw, but I'm just glad that one judge didn't ruin the fight, the results, I should say.
Yeah, this is a very, very entertaining fight. Nadeem Blackwell Sadikov, Ray Longo product, so I was pulling for him heavy. Going against Slavakov,
which is a white paper product.
Yeah. The first round I had Slavakov winning. Nazim, he couldn't really implement the takedowns the way he really wanted to. So I gave Slavokov the first round. The second round, Nazim caught him with that nasty combo. He caught him with the head kick and dropped him up against the cage. Which, by the way, that was the first time him being dropped in the UFC. That was very impressive.
I didn't realize that.
He got dropped, and I thought he was gonna get finished too because he followed up with a couple of, shots or whatever. Do you think in that moment he should have let him back up, or he should have just stayed with the ground and pound and been more?
Absolutely should have let him back up, but I think that speaks to his inexperience in the UFC.
Because look,
we'll come back to that later.
He was on the ground, I think, for like the last 2 minutes of the round, and even when Slavokov got up, he was wobbly. His legs, he still didn't have his legs up under him. So if you think about it, for those 2 minutes, if he would have been standing up and eating shots, he probably could have been finished. And that came back to hunt the Black Wolf, because in the third round, I feel like he was trying to look for that one heavy shot or that one knockout punch a little bit, and I had him losing the third round. So the first round and third round he lost 10-9, and then the second round I gave him 10-8, which would have made it a draw. So this was a very, very, very apropos and very appropriate for it to be a draw.
Yeah, I think I might go back and watch this these prelim. I might go back and watch the whole card over again from beginning to end, actually. But if it's anything to take away from this fight, is that both of them boys got that dog in them. I never seen Borishev take that much punishment and stick around. So I feel like he really showed a lot to me as far as having heart.
He did.
Oh boy, next fight, lightweight bout. Roosevelt Roberts submitted by Mataus Rebecki by armbar in the first round. Roosevelt Roberts, we all saw this coming. He took the fight on 4 days' notice. Missed weight by like 4 pounds, and it just wasn't really much to break down because Mataus Rebecki just kind of steamrolled him. Took him down like real early in the round, probably within the first like 12 seconds, and it was almost like he was getting Khabib from that point on. He kind of rolled out from under the full mount and was about to get back up, but then that's when Rebecki took his back, and once he took his back, he was searching for guillotines, and some kind of way he ended up grabbing his arm and then flipping over and throwing him in a really, really, really deep armbar. Roosevelt Roberts stood to his feet, tried to fight it, ended up tapping, and that was pretty much that.
Yeah, the decks was definitely stacked against Roosevelt Roberts in this fight. Hopefully we see him back in the UFC, but
I'm pretty sure we will.
Yeah, he took this fight on short notice. This guy, Mataus Rebecki, is a stud. He's supposed to be an up-and-comer.
Undefeated, right?
I believe it's either undefeated or won like 16 straight or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so very, very impressive. Very impressive. But he got caught. Once it went to the ground, I kind of knew it was over. And then he got caught in the armbar. He tried to stand up and pull out of it, but it was just too late. I'm glad he did tap and not get his arm broke.
Once it was announced, I knew it was over.
Yeah.
Once this fight was announced, I can't remember who Roosevelt Roberts filled in for.
Neither.
But yeah, it was pretty uneventful. I mean, in and out. It saved 3 minutes, but it seemed so much shorter because it was just pretty much control time the whole time on the ground. Moving up to a women's strawweight bout, we had number 10 Tabitha Ricci versus number 13 Lupi Godinez, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and take off on this one.
Hey, shout out to Lupi for this one. When the fight was, I thought she was a heavy underdog, but she came in as like a slight favorite. Tabitha Ricci, she been on a little streak. This fight, in the first round, Lupi ended up dropping her, and then within like the last 10 seconds, she got clipped with something too, and she kind of got dropped too. So then they kind of evened out the round a little bit. I still gave her the first round. I believe she got dropped again in the second round too. But overall,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got dropped in the last 10 seconds of the first 2 rounds.
Yeah. But overall, besides those two, she pretty much, I want to say she dominated the fight, but I would say she controlled the pace. She was looking real good on the stand up. I did say her best path to victory would be on the ground. I was wrong. She did her thing on the stand up. That's not to take away from Tabitha Ricci. I think she's still real good and she can probably be a future champion. But I just feel like Loopy, this is her. She's the first female in the UFC history to win 4 fights in a single calendar year, and that just shows how active she's been. I think that she's just on a roll right now, and she got a lot of momentum behind her because training with Alexa Grasso and that camp down there, is really, I feel like it's really rubbing off on her, and her striking is pretty crisp in my opinion. So,
yeah, I was highly impressed with Lupe Godinez. I picked Tabitha Ricci to win this fight. I felt like Tabitha Ricci. I feel like both of their strengths are on the ground, and Tabitha Ricci is better at jiu-jitsu, and she's like a more jiu-jitsu slash judo, and Lupe is more wrestling slash just wrestling. So I felt like Tabitha Ricci had the edge on the ground. And what impressed me about Lupe is that she was able to dictate where the fight took place. Meaning, hey, what's up? What's going on? Thanks for joining the chat. But yeah, she was able to dictate where the fight took place. Meaning, every time Tabitha Ricci got in the clinch and tried to do a judo throw or tried to take her down, she stuffed the takedowns. But not only did she stuff the takedowns, she made her pay every time. On the break, she would catch her with like a significant strike that would make her think twice about trying to get another takedown. And I say after this 3rd or 4th time she tried to take her down and couldn't get her down but paid for it, it kind of deterred her. And Lupe Godinez kept her hands high. You can tell that she's been training with Grasso with that high guard. And her striking was just on point. Tabitha Ricci, I feel like, never really could get her range when she was in close. It's like she was throwing, but she didn't want to get too close because she was getting picked apart. You said it, you wouldn't call it
dominant victory.
Dominant victory, but it was close to it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was still a competitive fight.
But I wouldn't call it dominant just because she did get dropped twice. So if not for those two, then yeah, I probably would say it was dominant. But
yeah,
she did get dropped twice.
Tabitha Ricci, I would have liked to see her utilize more leg kicks, and more body shots. I feel like she was kind of head hunting. At sometimes she looked a little lost on the feet, but I feel like it's really because Godinez just shut down everything she tried to do. That was really impressive. She showed a new layer to her game. Lupe did, as far as with the striking and being defensively sound, and anti-wrestling pretty much, knowing how to keep the fight on the feet. And so she just proved that she has more than one path to victory. And if she can continue to dictate where the fights take place, use her wrestling in reverse when she want to keep it standing, and use her wrestling offensively when she want to take it to the ground, I feel like she's going to be a problem in the strawweight division.
Yeah, I agree too. She came in, she was ranked number 13, right? 13 versus 10?
Yep.
I'm looking at the strawweight rankings now. I would like to see her fight. Man, give her Angela Hill in this. Let her beat up on Angela Hill.
Angela Hill already beat her.
Who, Lupe?
Yeah, that was her last loss.
Rematch it because she won 4 straight. Rematch that, or she can fight Luina Pinheiro. I like that fight.
See, I feel like she might be ahead of Angela Hill in the rankings after this fight, and I would like to see her fight the winner of who is Amanda Hebos fighting next week? You know?
Nah, I'm gonna check right now though.
I would say give her the winner of that fight, and give Mackenzie Dern the loser of that fight.
Yeah. All right. In the meantime, while I look up their next fight, I'm gonna move on to this one.
All right, this was the final fight on the prelims. We had Steve Erceg versus Alessandro Costa, who I didn't realize was filling in for Matt Schnell.
Hey, real quick, bro.
Go ahead.
Next week we got number 9 Luina Pinheiro versus number 11 Amanda Ribas.
Yeah, I would say give Lupi the winner of that fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steve Erceg versus Alessandro Costa. Steve Erceg, aka Astro Boy, came in first round looking really, really slick. Alessandro Costa was trying to turn it into a brawl early, but Erceg was really calculated and composed. He had that same look on his face that he got right now, looking like he don't care in the world, just strolling through the park, picking this dude apart. Was able to get a takedown, which was partially a knockdown. He was good with the head movement. He was countering. He hit him with a counter too. And once he hit him with that, Alessandro kind of wobbled and then he fell into the cage. Erceg took him down. Sliced into full mount immediately. And then I was thinking that it was going to be exactly what you said, because your prediction was Costa was going to rush in with something, get clipped, and then get pounded out of submission.
Bro, I got like the first 75% of that right.
Yeah, you did. But Erceg, I feel like he tried too hard to go for the submission. He was he got anxious for a split second, and it cost him. Allowed Alessandro Costa to get back up. Alessandro Costa was pretty impressive. In the second round, he started landing these overhand rights and just really putting some damage on Steve Erceg. And at one point, I thought, it's going to be another comeback victory. Costa finna go ahead and finish this dude. But Erceg was able to survive through the second round, weathered the storm, and then came back in the third round. When the third one started, it was one round apiece, and Erceg pretty much just grinding him out against the cage. I feel like they mentioned on the broadcast last night, when Costa goes back to watch this fight, he's gonna be disappointed in himself, because I feel like he could have did more in the third round to give himself a chance to win that fight.
Yeah. So the first, I believe it was the first round. He did rush in. Costa is so wild, man. Like, he brings it every time, and which is why I thought he'd get finished in the first round. But he came in, he lunged, and then he got dropped, and then Steve Erceg was able to get on full mount. He just didn't get finished the way I called. But this fight was competitive. I didn't see it being as competitive as it was. Costa, he showed like a lot of heart, and he definitely finna bring it every time. But yeah, Erceg, I like to see where he go from here and see what his next fight gonna be.
Yeah, he definitely showed that if you can bring some chaos to him,
because he got hit a lot, you know.
Yeah, he did,
and that's kind of something I'm gonna keep my eyes on, because he was very hittable in this fight, and I don't know, if he'll be able to sustain that style going forward.
Yeah, overall it was a pretty entertaining fight, though.
Yeah, I agree. And that was close out the prelims. And this main card, man, just brought the heat.
Oh my, where is Thinking Black when you need him? We had Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini in a featherweight bout. Diego Lopez first round finish, KO TKO. Pat Sabatini came in. He was using his hands, which I already knew, like, stop playing. You want to take this man down. Like, one trick pony. And so he went for the takedown. He actually got it, but Diego Lopez scrambled back to his feet. And it's like, you kind of get the sense that Lopez was kind of waiting for the first 30 seconds of the fight, kind of like just feeling him out to see what he was going to do. And once he was engaged with that takedown, and he scrambled back to his feet impressively, Pat Sabatini started spamming takedowns, and he couldn't get one. And then one time he rushed in and he got clipped. And when he got clipped with like a long 1-2, you saw his legs go. He was standing on his ankles, kind of like Ronda when she got hit by
Amanda Nunes, yeah.
He was standing on his ankles. He was trying to step back, but he didn't have his legs under him. Then he got clipped again, and then Diego got on top of him and just the way he had him land on his side. He was in like full mount, but Sabatini was laying on his side. Sabatini had one arm under him, so he couldn't really defend, and he just ate like probably 4 or 5 vicious shots, and the referee mercifully put a stop to it. And Diego Lopez came out victorious. I definitely see future contender, if not future champion. Pretty big for the featherweight class. Got a lot of experience outside of the UFC. That was his
third fight.
But that was his, I want to say, like 15th first round finish.
Yeah.
And he's a jiu-jitsu guy that got like 9 knockouts now. So I think he got like 9 knockouts and 12 subs. So really rounded out his game, and he's a future star in my opinion.
Bro, that's always scary when you got people like him and Raul Rosas, who's jiu-jitsu wizards, but then they come knocking people out. You feel me? That's always scary because he's young and he still got so much more potential. If the striking can catch up to the ground, then he's gonna be a major problem.
What was he, like 26?
Yeah,
26 years old. And again, that's that camp, man. They producing some killers over there.
Yeah. Like bro said, the fight started and they was filling each other out for like the first 20 seconds maybe. Sabatini went for a takedown and got caught in a scramble, and immediately getting back up, he got caught with, I believe it was like a right hook or a left hook, and they just wobbled him, made him do like the stinky leg a little bit, and then he went up against the cage. Diego Lopez followed up with another shot, dropped him, and he was out. Like before he even hit the ground, he was out, and his arm was stuck up under him, which made it look even nastier. And he just ate a bunch of follow-up shots. But this was impressive.
When they was telling him he lost, he was like, "How?"
Yeah. How? Yeah. If you ever got to ask how or what happened, then you you got knocked out.
Yeah, the stinky leg. He went back like Glass Joe on Punch Out, like side to side to side to side, and then boom.
Yep.
Every fight on the main card, we did not need the judges. Judges took the night off. They could have just sat back and had some popcorn. Diego Lopez got an extra 50 G's. Matt Frivola Benoit Saint Denis got an extra 50 G's. What you gonna say?
Only one fight on the main card went to third round, right? I believe.
No, I didn't either.
No fight went to the third round.
All right, so next up, lightweight bout. I thought this was going to be fight of the night, but it didn't last long enough. But it was definitely on its way. It was chaos from the bell. We had the steamroller, Matt Frivola, versus the God of War, Benoit Saint Denis. It was kind of ironic that both men served their country and they fought each other on Veterans Day. Thought that was kind of cool. Both guys had a lot of respect for each other. Benoit Saint Denis went for a takedown early, and it was a really nice grappling exchange. Like, this fight was so exciting that even when it was on the ground, it was just action-packed. Both guys hitting switches and reversing each other, getting the advantage on the ground. Then Benoit Saint Denis scrambled back to his feet, and he's just so forward pressure like the Terminator. Knockout wakes and dental procedure wake ups are the funniest. Man, hey, that kick was nasty. Matt Frivola tried to release some of the pressure that Benoit Saint Denis was putting on him, and he dropped his hands and started, like, I'm not gonna say he was running, but he was like Backpedaling. He was backpedaling. He never took his eyes off of his opponent and running. That's what Connor did from Nate.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, there I go. But he never turned his back, and he just was backing up. And Benoit Saint Denis just caught back and blasted him with a head kick, split him open, dropped him. And when he went down, it was already over. I can't remember if he landed any shots on the ground or not. I feel like
two.
And it was over quickly. And again, Team Cerro Longo, another loss for the night. So they had 2 losses in a draw.
Yeah.
In their backyard. That had to be tough. You could tell Favola he was really disappointed in himself. Benoit Saint Denis gets on the mic afterwards, calls out Matthäus Gamrot, Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier. Like, slow your roll, homie.
He can take on Matthäus Gamrot. Matthäus Gamrot ain't gonna fight him though.
Yeah, he's not even in the top 15 though. He probably will be now. Definitely not the top 10.
This was probably the most disappointing fight of the night, but it was also one of the best fights of the night. But I say that because I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it go longer. I wanted to see it go at least 2 rounds, and I just wanted to see the will of Saint Denis be tested from Favola with his pressure and stuff like that. We didn't really get a chance to see that. That was impressive nonetheless because he caught him with a head kick from hell, and like immediately once he fell down, I just knew it was over.
Because of the way he fell. Like the light was off.
Might say the most French name ever, Benoit Saint Denis. Yeah,
Benoit Saint Denis.
But yeah,
eating croissants right now.
For real. But yeah, this was real impressive. By far the biggest victory in his career. He was unranked. Shout out to Favola, man, for taking on an unranked guy because his last fight he was unranked and fought a ranked guy in Drew Dober, so he did the same thing in return.
Yeah, a lot of these guys be trying to squat on their spot.
Yeah, so Favola was number 13, I believe, or 14. He might get bumped out of the top 15 because of this, and Benoit Saint Denis might take that 15 spot or 14 spot. I'm very anxious to see who they finna match him up with next.
Hey, I feel like these two might run into each other later on down the road.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would like to see him. I mean, Rafael dos Anjos, they still got him ranked in the lightweight division.
Yeah, you know he about that. He don't mind taking on people under him.
How about number 13, Renato Moicano?
Actually, that's a perfect matchup. I feel like with their two styles, it'll be pretty good. Entertaining fight, action packed. One thing about Benoit Saint Denis, is like he shows every time why they call him Seek and Destroy, because he come out there on a mission. He's straight in your face. He don't give you no time to rest, and he's not gonna get tired. So we move on to another women's strawweight bout. Former champion Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. I'm gonna let you take this one since I know it tickled your fancy.
Yeah, I'll call this one. Andrade was on a 3-fight losing streak. I kind of picked this one with my heart because I didn't want to see her go on a 4-fight losing streak, and also I know for a fact that Mackenzie Dern stand up, even though it has improved. I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was tonight, but I knew even though her stand up has improved, I felt like she might get a little too comfortable. And
it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all bad.
No. I don't think it was that her stand up was terrible. I just think that she wasn't able to implement her game plan. Number one. Number two, she ain't got Jason Pereira, so that I think that did hinder her striking a little bit. And number three,
y'all that don't know, Jason Pereira, Hall of Fame striking coach. He coaches Chito Vera. He coached Michael Bisping, and he was coaching Mackenzie Dern, which had her striking improving, but apparently he got out of the game.
And to our point, her last fight against Angelo Hill was no slouch at all, much as I like to rag on her and stuff. But this is a very, very respectable fighter. She dropped her 2 or 3 times in that fight, you know. and that was very impressive. So coming into this fight, her stand up was a little better than what she showed. But Andrade, man, she just kept dropping her. I don't even know how many. She dropped her 4 times. They said. I felt like it was more than that, but she dropped her 4 times, mostly with the hook. Mackenzie Dern, her head was just straight up, and she was just getting caught. And then when she got dropped, she would want Andrade to engage in the ground, but Andrade would let her up every time, showing that veteran IQ. And in the second round, after getting dropped for the 4th time, the referee stopped the fight, and I think that was a damn good stoppage because it wasn't going to get any better for her.
Hey, for those of you who old school UFC heads, this was kind of like Mackenzie Dern is the female version of Damian Maia, and Jessica Andrade is the female version of Wanderlei Silva. So you got elite jiu-jitsu black belt in Dern versus a wild striker and Andrade. Andrade can wrestle too. She's more well-rounded, but yeah, man, I think Mackenzie Dern, until she's not really gonna live up to the hype until she has a more effective takedown offense. Because when she gets you on the ground, she's gonna give you hell. But the problem is getting you there. And appreciate that, Mike. Great analogy. So I feel like Damian Maia could get you on the ground, whereas Mackenzie Dern struggles actually getting you there. But once she gets you there, you're probably gonna get submitted. She got one headlock judo throw in the fight, and when she got it, she chose submission over position. They say you always choose position over submission. Don't rush to go for the solve, because in the process of doing that, you give opportunity for your opponent to get up, and Jessica Andrade scramble right back up real quick. And another thing, Mackenzie Dern, knowing that her striking isn't her strong suit, she's really stubborn, and sometimes I feel like she got too much heart for her own good, because she didn't really attempt. She probably attempted 2, maybe 3 takedowns at the most, but for the most part, she was just throwing hands. And when she started letting loose combos, like 1, 2, and 3 might be okay, but she was stringing together 4 or 5 punch combos, and a lot of it was landing, like straights and jabs. But number one, her punch variety, she doesn't have that much variety in her shot selection, and number two, when she go to getting into like those long combos, she tend to lift her chin right up in the air. And so Jessica Andrade caught her with those wide hooks a couple of times. Like you said, she probably dropped her 4 times. And every time she got dropped, first time was at the end of the first round. And this all the other 3 came in the second round. And every time she got dropped, she would try to lay there, like Charles Oliveira, kind of like inviting Jessica Andrade to jump into her guard. Jessica Andrade showed her experience and high fight IQ by not following her to the ground, making her get back up, which is a mistake that I forgot who we said made earlier in the card.
Black Wolf.
Yeah. Nazim Sadikov.
Yeah.
She made her get back up every time. And the last time she got dropped, she fell into the fence and kind of like laid on her back and rolled up with her legs in the air, kind of like she was doing a spin-a-rooney or something. And so the referee called it a great stoppage. Jessica Andrade, extra 50 G's. As you guys can see, everybody complain about fighter pay, which I feel like you sign your contract. I mean, ain't nobody make you do that. This was your choice. You knew what you were getting paid. But everybody on this main card, as far as all the winners at least, got an extra 50 G's. And then both fighters on the last prelim got an extra 50 G's. So Booker She.
Hey, Mike, shut up. Hey, she's a two-time world champion in jiu-jitsu. That is in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
TKO bread.
TKO bread. You're right. But I mean, usually he only give it to like 3 people. He'll give a fight of the night, and then 3 performance bonuses. They don't call them knockout and submission no more. But yeah, he gave out a lot of money last night. He was feeling generous. They say this was the second highest gate in MSG history.
And who was the first?
McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez. And
there's only one Conor McGregor.
Here you go. And so now the UFC holds the 1, 2, and 3 spot for the gates at Madison Square Garden, which is insane. Yeah, Jessica Andrade needed that fight, and she's ranked number 5. I feel like she's not too far from a title shot, even though she had those losses. She was flip-flopping weight classes and whatnot. So
yeah, I'm real happy for Andrade, man. She definitely is a future Hall of Famer. Of my female fighters, I would say she's in the top 5 of my favorite, just because she's very exciting to watch and she brings it every time. Like, you watch Andrade fight, she's either going to get finished or be finished, most likely, or she's going to beat the hell out of you, like she did with Lauren Murphy, But yeah, man, I'm a big fan of Andrade.
I feel like she fought everybody already, though, so it's kind of hard to say what I think should be next.
Yeah. Mackenzie Dern, what you think should be next for
her? I think she should beg Jason Pereira to come out of retirement so she can get them hands up, and then she should train with like some elite wrestlers. Like she should probably go over there with DC and AKA and actually learn how to wrestle. Like, you got the jiu-jitsu game on point. She got heart. I feel like she has the potential. She just got to stir up some holes in the game.
All right, so I think Mackenzie Dern should fight Tabitha Ricci next, and then Lupi should fight Andrade.
That's a big jump from
yeah, but look,
number 10 to 5.
Oh, look, I'm looking at number 1, Collar Esparza. Yeah, I don't want to see her fight Andrade. I mean, maybe they could fight each other, but actually not a bad fight.
It's not a bad fight.
Yan Shannon, she fought already. Tatiana Suarez, she fought already. Amanda Lemos, she fought already. Mackenzie Dern, she fought already. So.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to match her up. One more, and then she should get a title shot, though, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's just that division is starting to get logjam. I feel like Weili should fight more.
You need to put that fight in China, man. We keep telling y'all, UFC, listen to us.
All right, so next up for the interim heavyweight championship, we had Sergey Pavlovich, 18-1, 15 first round finishes, 15 knockouts. Tom Aspinall, 10-3, with 11 knockouts and 2 submissions, all coming in the first round. We already knew we wasn't going to need the judges for this one. This fight was really short, as expected. True heavyweight fight. Sergey Pavlovich came out. Tom Aspinall was using his footwork. He's very, 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 very agile and athletic for a big man. Pavlovich rocked him with like a mean hook, knocked his mouthpiece out. Aspinall, first man in history that God has ever made that was able to withstand a punch from Sergey Pavlovich, because usually when he connect with people clean, it's like he just go in survival mode. But he kind of ate it a little bit. I think Sergey thought that he was more hurt than he was. Sergey started letting off his hands. Aspinall clipped him with a right hook, clipped him with another right hook, and dropped him. And the way he fell is like he almost fell on his knee. I'm glad that he didn't. I'm glad that knee didn't fold up under him, because all that weight coming down would have definitely been tragic.
Yeah.
And then Aspinall jumped on top of him and landed like 3 good hammer fists, and it was a wrap. That was it. everybody always said this guy was going to be champ one day. And based off of the way he was talking, he really wanted that John Jones fight. There's not really much more to say about this, except it was extremely impressive. He slayed the beast.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed with Tommy Aspinall. He did get hit with a shot from Sergey, and he ate it. He kind of took a step back too, like shook his head a little bit, like all right. And then Sergey Sergey came in, and then he caught him with a I'd say like a hook or something like that. And the way he fell was pretty nasty because his knee did give out a little bit, but thankfully he was able to fall backwards or whatever and not land on his knee. And then I believe he ate like 2 or 3 more follow-up shots. But the biggest question of this is what's going to happen next, because we don't want to see.
Mike say, yeah, he was supposed to wait till John Jones retired. He don't want no Bones Jones. Hey, man. Hey, this guy right here is probably the future of the division, and I don't think John Jones would smoke him.
Nope.
I can see a world where that could be a really competitive fight.
Yep. But bro, John Jones can't do to him what he did to Cyril Gahn. It ain't happening.
Nah.
Because
he's a well-rounded heavyweight. He's one of those heavyweights that he could submit you. He got a good ground game. I expected his path to victory was going to be to utilize takedowns and kind of like take it into a later round, but he didn't even took one takedown. Of course, it was only a minute, so
yeah. So I feel like he should just fight Stipe next, and the winner of that should fight John Jones. Just do it like that. Keep it simple.
Based off of what Dana was saying last night, he said he had dinner with Stipe on Friday, and Stipe really want to fight John Jones, and they was asking him what they're gonna do with Aspinall. If they're gonna make him defend the interim belt. He was saying he don't know yet. He'll see. Aspinall was saying that he don't mind defending it at all, but he said what he really want to do is fight John Jones in the stadium in England. You get what I'm saying? They was saying something about if Leon keep his belt, put both of them in the stadium show in England, which would be massive. But we'll see what happens. Dana's adamant that the fight to make is Stipe versus John Jones. Me personally, in the perfect world, Mike say Jones is too old to smoke dudes this big, but he won't lose. Got a good point. Like, I'm still curious to see. He smoked Cyril Gahn, but Cyril Gahn kind of smoked himself at the same time. I think he was just enamored by seeing John Jones across from him, and he didn't show up. But at the same time, John Jones he the GOAT, man. I mean, it's nobody who you can say, oh, I don't think John Jones can beat him. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
But in a perfect world, in my opinion, John Jones fights Stipe. John Jones wins that fight, and then he fights Aspinall. And the reason why I say that is because John Jones was saying the only reason he was going to fight Stipe and retire because none of these other guys impressed him. You get what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I feel like that was really impressive what Aspinall did. Let's be honest, nobody want to fight Sergey. I feel like if Stipe was to win versus Jones, he's just going to retire, and then that ruins that. So I feel like it would be better for the company if John Jones won, because I feel like he has a better chance of at least trying to defend it and then losing it as opposed to leaving the division in shambles, which it kind of already is.
Bro, I feel like they're going to make Tommy Aspinall fight Cyril Gahn to defend the belt, and the winner of that is going to fight the winner of Bones and Stipe.
Yeah, they told him at the post-fight press conference last night, they told Tom that Cyril Gahn was calling him out, and he started laughing. And he was like, tell him to go fight Almeida or something, because he was like, when I was calling him out, when he was like a higher rank than me, he was ignoring me. So now he wants to
fight. Might say GOAT status
all day. All right, moving right along, we have the main event of the evening and an extremely anticipated bout between Yuri Procházka and Alex Pereira. And oh my God, like, hey, this fight right here, before it even started, had my skin crawl.
The stare down, man, was insane. Bro, it gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, it did. The stare down was insane. Alex Pereira entered the cage first. Yuri Procházka came in second. From the time Yuri's foot touched the octagon, Pereira was giving him that stone cold stare, that just staring through his soul. Yuri Procházka acknowledged it, and then the stare down was just, it's like it was so intense. It was a perfect build to an amazing fight. Didn't last that long. I believe it was a second round TKO. But as expected, the reason why I picked Pereira is because I felt like Yuri is too hittable, and I just felt like his leg kicks were going to be a problem. And 2 leg kicks into the fight, you see Yuri's calf starting to swell up. He started to switch stances. Alex Pereira won the first half of the first round. Yuri started coming back. He got a takedown in there, and that's the first time you ever see Yuri go for a takedown. Trevor say touch on the Ngannou versus Fury fight from a few weeks ago. Mike said the best move would be for Aspinall and Stipe to fight and draw. Then Bones fights them both back to back, goes out on top, retires, and beats up a Paul brother for 50 mil. I don't think a Paul brother would even want to be in the same room with that guy.
Nope.
But I would watch it. I would definitely watch it. But yeah, Pereira with the leg kicks, man. The way he kind of whip him, like he don't put his hips into it. They just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, he don't telegraph it at all, so you can't see it coming.
Oh my God! Both of these guys, I'm really impressed with. Yuri Procházka's first loss in 8 years. He had 28 wins, 25 knockouts, 23 in the first round. Alex Pereira, new to MMA, but not new to combat sports. Well, not even new no more. He's been in the UFC 2 years already, held belts in 2 weight classes. He was a 2 weight class champion in Glory Kickboxing. He has, in his 11 MMA fights, defeated 4 champions, because he defeated Israel Adesanya, defeated Sean Strickland, defeated Jan Blachowicz, and Yuri was also a former champion in his weight class. So he vacated his belt, came back to get it back, and then just his second fight in light heavyweight history, in light heavyweight division, I'm sorry, he defeats Yuri Procházka and makes history. Procházka definitely probably squeezed out the first round, I would say, with the takedowns. He didn't do much damage with the ground and pound, but he had a lot of control time. In the second round, Yuri started getting off his strikes more. He started coming forward, putting Pereira on his back foot, which you don't really see that often. He connected a couple of clean, nice shots. He's so unorthodox, and I don't know. I wish I could just there's really no way to explain Yuri's style, to be honest. I mean, I can't articulate it, but it's just so weird, and the way he switched stances and he'd be right in front of you, kind of with his hands down, but it's almost like he's dancing in there a little bit. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, almost like Capoeira,
like Emmanuel Augustus or something like that. But he had Pereira against the cage, hurt him a couple of times. There was I was on pins and needles the whole time, so it was quite a few times where I felt like, oh, this finna be it. Especially when Yuri had Alex against the cage. He was kind of unloading on him a little bit, and then he started going to the body. Alex kept using those leg kicks, which I think made it a little bit harder for Yuri when he switched stances. Every time he got hit with a leg kick, he would switch, but he switches a lot anyway. But then he would go right back, and at one point he was coming in almost for the clinch, and he threw like a 3-punch combo. He landed the first. Alex kind of dodged the second punch, and then hit him with a left hook, which is his go-to punch. And then he hit him with another left hook, and Yuri kind of fell into him and tried to go for a takedown. and while he's going for the takedown, he has a double leg, and Alex has his leg spread trying to block it. Alex has his back against the fence. Alex start hitting him with elbows in the side of the head. Yuri falls backwards. Alex falls into full mount, and at that point, the referee stopped it before Alex can get any damage off in the full mount. We all thought it was an early stoppage. I feel like, don't get me wrong, Yuri was definitely hurt and he was out of there, but I feel like, especially in a championship fight, the referee should leave no doubt. He should go ahead and let it be a clean. You want a cleaner finish in the championship bout, but
definitely.
But to Yuri's credit, when they asked him if he thought it was a quick stoppage, he said, "No, I was out. It was the right stoppage. I was out, but my body was still going." So I mean, whether it's him not wanting to make no excuses or whether it's him just telling the truth, either way, you got to respect it, and we move on.
Man, I watched plenty of UFC fights and MMA fights, man, but this fight right here, the walkout was one of the best walkouts I ever seen. Just pull time. He got this little thing where he throws his setup and then like he plods to the octagon like in a certain kind of way, and then he stops and shoots his little arrow and everything like that.
Coming out to the tribal music.
Yeah. And then it's like you got his tribal music and then Yuri come out to his samurai music. Man, it was so intense. And as soon as Yuri got in the ring, he went straight into the center of the octagon and just stood there. The whole time he just stood there, just staring down Poatan and Poatan staring him down. And it just gave me goosebumps. Like I couldn't even sit down. But the first round, I would say Pereira got like the first half of it, and Yuri got the second half. I don't know how I would score that one. That was a tough one to score. The second round, Yuri, he's just so awkward, man, and his style is I don't know, it's just very different. Like nobody can emulate his style. He was throwing nice combos, but he had a Poatan up against the cage, and Poatan caught him with a hook and dropped him, and then Yuri had his arms around his legs trying to get a takedown, and Poatan started catching him with some elbows, and then got on full mount. And the referee, I would say it was an early stoppage, and I feel like deep down Yuri thinks it was an early stoppage. He knows it was, but he just he's very
he don't like to make excuses.
Yeah, exactly. He's not gonna do that. He's a very honorable samurai. You know what I'm saying? So
when we say samurai, like it's not a gimmick. This guy truly lives like a samurai code. Like you see that weird hairstyle, it represents something for him. I heard him in an interview. He had that ponytail a little further back. It was a little longer. He cut it. They asked him why he cut it. He said it was something about a promise that he made to himself that he broke, so he had to cut it. They asked him what it was. He said he can't talk about it. And they're like, I see you growing it back, but you're growing in a different spot. He said, yeah, because I'm in a different place. So it's just like a lot to unpack. Both of these guys are pretty interesting cats. Poatan avenged his mentor and got his belt back from the guy that took it from him.
Yeah, and plus, if you look at the post-fight interview or in the octagon, you can just see it in Yuri's eyes, man. Like he was kind of like at a loss for words because he's gonna get right back and start training. I bet he's already training again today. You know what I'm saying?
He was training last night.
So
he left the bench and went straight to the gym.
I feel bad for his next opponent because his next opponent is going to get thrashed, I think.
Oh, man. I wouldn't want to beat him.
I think he should fight Johnny Walker next.
Hey, I don't care who his next opponent is. I feel like they're getting finished.
Yep. I like to see him against Johnny Walker.
Yeah, Alex Pereira, of course, now. Like we said, this division has been in shambles. The last three out of the last four champs had to vacate the belt. John Jones vacated it. He didn't have to. He chose to. He got bored with the division. Yuri Procházka took the belt off of Glover because Glover won the vacant belt. I forgot who he beat for it. Oh no, Glover took it off of your boy Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah.
Yuri took it off of Glover. Then he vacated it. Then they had a vacant title fight. Jamal Hill won that fight, and then he just vacated it. So Alex Pereira's next opponent will likely be Jamal Hill, even though he called out Israel Adesanya. Izzy said he's taking a break, so I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But overall, this card did live up to expectations. I would give it an A+. If you got an extra 5 minutes, go ahead and watch the whole main card all over again. Because every fight, I think, ended in the first or second round. I think this was the actually longest fight on the main card, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they did a lot of talking. As far as this whole Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury situation, Francis Ngannou exceeded expectations. Oh wow, I'm sorry, I got distracted by the NFL, but Tyson Fury definitely exceeded expectations. I mean, no, Francis.
Hey, you just seen that catch, ain't
it? yeah, interception. Yeah, I thought that was a pick.
Oh, but yeah, go ahead though.
Yeah, Tyson Fury exceeded. I keep saying Tyson Fury.
Ngannou
exceeded expectations. He man, I felt like he won that fight when I was watching it live. And how impressive is that for a guy to come, never boxed a day in his life, and you're fighting the greatest heavyweight of this time. And even though the judges didn't give it to him, which I said they weren't, no matter what he did. Look at Trevor. See my dedication to watching Collision while the NFL is on. If you felt like the Patriots was a threat, you might be trying to keep one eye on that. But you already know they garbage. But yeah, so Francis definitely got the bag too. So even though he quote unquote lost the fight on paper, he's winning in life. But now the PFL, which by the way, for those of y'all that don't know, something that we failed to mention, the PFL has bought Bellator. The PFL purchased Bellator. They said they're still gonna keep it under the Bellator banner for about 2 years. I don't know what that means for the PFL. I know they're finna open up their pay-per-view model next year. We'll see how that plays out. I don't feel like personally they have the
roster.
The roster, or as Trevor would say, the star power to put on pay-per-view fights.
They ain't got no superstars.
I mean, they got Kayla Harrison, and that's it. So, I mean, now they got Francis, but they don't got nobody for Francis to fight. And I feel like by them doing what Kayla Harrison, if you was an MMA fan, you would know. Trust me. Like I just found out who LA Knight was like a few months ago. So it's like, I know a lot of people would say he's a superstar. Well, would you say he's a superstar, Trevor? I need Trevor's opinion on that. Francis should come back to the UFC. TKO got that long bread. Yeah, but they don't want to give it to him. Dana offered him, I think, $10 million to fight $10 million over 3 fights, and he just made that in 1 fight as a boxer. PFL literally broke the bank account for him, and they gave him exclusivity to box, and they don't see no pieces of that paper. So now that he boxed and it was a success, now he's talking about boxing again, and now they're saying that they don't know. With the pay-per-view points, you're right. And but now they're saying they don't have no opponent for him in MMA, so they kind of put themselves in an awkward position. They talking about bringing Deontay Wilder to the cage in PFL and having them to do a hybrid boxing / MMA fight. Probably will be no takedowns, 4-ounce gloves. 2 of the hardest hitting dudes in combat sports, 4-ounce gloves. That would be a spectacle for sure. I don't know how many people would. I feel like whatever Francis do now, though, he'll get paid, which makes a fight with him and John Jones even bigger right now. Somebody asked Dana last night. Let me finish this 1 point. They asked Dana last night if he would cross promote because the PFL and the UFC are both on ESPN. So they was asking him what all the cross promotions going on in boxing just to make the big fights happen. Would he be willing to cross promote a fight with John Jones and Francis? And then he was like, why would I do that? And then he was like, I tried to make the fight when he was here, and then he didn't want to do the fight. And now he goes over there and I'm supposed to make the fight. He was like, why would I do that? And then the dude didn't say nothing. He was like, no, talk to me. Answer me. Tell me why. And then he was like, yeah, that's the dumbest question of the night. He kind of shot it down like real quick. Go ahead, bro.
Yo, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me or no?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, I was going to say, I sent you something, and they're saying that Francis' next fight is going to be a boxing fight against some guy I never really heard of.
December 23rd?
Yeah, that's number one.
Yeah, I don't know if I guess Bones experiencing technical difficulties. I don't know if Francis will ever fight MMA again. I think he's a boxer now because he's taking less risk. You got to worry about less offensive weapons. You don't got to worry about getting taken down. You got to worry about your legs getting kicked. You don't got to worry about getting kicked, period. No elbows. You just throwing hands. And I feel like making way more money. So I don't know. I think it'll be hard for him to come back to MMA. But at the same time, he's under contract. So he may not have a choice. I don't know if they're going to give him the hybrid fights in PFL or what. But that being said, I did want to see Francis versus John Jones, but I do think John Jones would have. You think it's more risk in boxing than it is in MMA, Trevor? Well, you know what? To kind of support your argument, nobody has ever I was just going to say nobody has ever died from MMA, but people have. I think they say boxers. An average of like 3 people a year die from boxing. So yeah, I give you that. So maybe let me change my wording and say I think MMA is harder. I think it's harder to train for MMA, and I think it's harder to do, like harder on the body, and more you got to put more thought into it. You got to worry about a lot more, but as far as health-wise, I would have to agree with you. And another thing about MMA too, when you out. Yeah, they might be able to come and land a few extra shots on you, but the referee will stop it. Whereas in MMA, in boxing, you can be out, but if you can get up and respond in 10 seconds, then you getting thrown right back into the fire. So I would have to agree with you on that. Other than that, this card was definitely a success. If you got ESPN Plus, you can go and watch some of the prelims back. And next coming up, the next pay-per-view, I believe, is December 16th, UFC 296. You have the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC welterweight champion Leon Rocky Edwards defending his belt against number 3 ranked welterweight in the world, Chaos Kobe Covington. You got Alessandra Pantoja as the flyweight champ defending his belt against Brandon Raw Dog Royval. Trevor, you seen Brandon Royval fight that one time? He the guy that threw the knee and then followed it up with some elbows and dropped the dude. That's going to be a really good card. You got Tony Ferguson versus Patty Pimblett on that card. Who else is on there? You got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Shavkat Rakhmonov, who is 17-0 with 6 knockout. 17-0 with I think it's 8 knockouts and 7 submissions. No, 8 knockouts, 9 submissions. Other than that, that's pretty much it. There will be no football show today. The Dolphins are on a bye. Last night, too, it was kind of cool. You heard the crowd pop because right before the main card started, you see Dana White, Donald Trump, and Kid Rock walking into the building. They had a lot of celebrities in the building last night. Bill Burr was there, a whole bunch of fighters. It was just an overall good event. Madison Square Garden is always a big card. They do it every November. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So for Bones and for myself, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Be sure to check out Man Talk Monday on Monday at 6:15 on this very same channel. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Go Steelers. Peace.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Straight Talk MMA, hosted by Zay Bonez, the MMA Brothers.